Lamar, and we'll probably talk about him again here in a second. We're going to be talking about some top 10 QB lists. I'm sure Nate will be able to play a little bit, get those lists up on the video. But we'll go Matt top 10 first here. I'll list them off, and then you guys will obviously go over them player by player. Matt's top 10 quarterbacks, 1 to 10. Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow, Jalen Hurts, Josh Allen, Trevor Lawrence, Justin Herbert, Aaron Rodgers, Jared Goff, Lamar Jackson, and Matt Stafford at 10. Mm-hmm. So, Matt, talk to me about your list, my friend.
So, you want me to just talk about each?
Yeah, you can just go down.
Yeah. Are we going to go we're going to talk about the first together, or do you just want me to go through my full list?
Give up my list. Let's give up my list too, and then we'll talk back and forth.
Right on. Yeah. Here's Nate's top 10 list right here. The top 4 are pretty much the same. Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow, Jalen Hurts, Josh Allen. Little difference here, we got Justin Herbert, Lamar Jackson, Trevor Lawrence, Kirk Cousins, Aaron Rodgers, and then Tua. So, first 4, pretty much the same. Mahomes, we don't really got to talk about.
Yeah, I was going to say,
he's the best quarterback.
If we had a tiered system, he'd be tier 1 by
himself. He's a tier by himself.
Which is insanity because the rest of these guys right below him are pretty damn good.
We don't compare Patrick Mahomes to players he's playing against. We compare him against
He's already against Ghosts.
He's
chasing Ghosts, man. He's crazy. A different breed. Joe Burrow at 2. I like Joe Burrow at 2. Just what he's done so far in his career, Super Bowl appearance. I mean, he's just, like you said, Matt, an ascending player in the league. Just love Joe Burrow, too. Jalen Hurts, the quarterback, fresh off a Super Bowl appearance. Eagles team, built around him. Like him there at 3. And Josh Allen at 4. This is your last one you guys are the same on. I like Josh Allen here at 4. I mean, he's a prototypical quarterback now, what you want and wish to have. Huge cannon arm, can use his legs.
Yeah.
He's
got everything you need. But
yeah.
I will say.
I think last year I probably would have put him at 2, but he did have a little bit.
I think he's dropping. I think he's
had a little bit down here, but he had that elbow.
I will say the injury. We'll see how that plays if he's fully clean this year because it was a weird throwing elbow injury. But at the end of the day, you're out there, and if you're out there,
you better be good.
You got to be playing, man.
That'll come in handy later down the list.
Definitely. Here we go. First difference, number 5. Matt, you have Trevor Lawrence. Nate, you have Justin Herbert. Matt, tell me why
Lawrence at 6.
He has Lawrence at 7.
Okay.
So pretty close, but it's a bit of a difference because he's got Lamar in between. But tell me why you think Lawrence is a top 5 quarterback, Matt.
Yeah, I think he was the jump he took. I think from last year to his rookie year was pretty big. Like he's definitely the best quarterback out of that draft class. Whereas his rookie year was Mac Jones was probably the best. Got his team to the playoffs, played really well down the stretch.
They were in that game with Kansas City.
They were in the game with Kansas City. So he's just been playing I'm trying to look at who's ascending here, and I think next year he's going to be one of the top guys for sure. So
yeah, I definitely love that. I mean, Trevor Lawrence is absolutely insane, and ascending is 100% the right word for that guy. The jump he took after Urban Meyer shit on him that rookie year, that's impressive alone. Yeah, that's impressive alone. Nate, Justin Herbert, top 5. I tend to agree here, potentially being the last quarterback here, as I said in our Lamar Jackson video a while back. But tell me why you have Justin Herbert in your top 5 quarterbacks.
I mean, you just have to look at the numbers. When you compare the numbers between Justin Herbert and Trevor Lawrence, it's not even a comparison between the two. Justin Herbert in 3 seasons has 14,000 yards, 94 passing touchdowns, and 35 interceptions.
I think the yards he's thrown is the most
of any quarterback in their first 3 years. And then Trevor Lawrence in 2 seasons, 7,700 yards, 37 touchdowns, and 25 interceptions. There's no way his numbers will eclipse Justin Herbert's after his 3rd year versus Herbert's 3rd year. There's just unless Trevor Lawrence throws 7,000 passing yards this year.
Herbert doesn't play.
And Herbert doesn't play.
Is this a 2023 list though, or is this?
This is a going into this season list.
Okay.
And Justin Herbert is one of those. I think he's still an ascending player.
Yeah.
And they added Kellen Moore into that offense.
Yeah.
This offense of the Chargers has been really bad going forward, or this past year, because all he did was dump it off to Eckler. There's a reason Austin Eckler had 100 catches as a running back. Justin Herbert picked up Quentin Johnson in the first round as a wide receiver. So they're going to have Keenan Allen, Quentin Johnson, and Mike Williams all going at it this year. Based on what I've seen these last 2-3 seasons, Justin Herbert has been considered a top 5 quarterback, and Trevor Lawrence is just now being considered a top 5 quarterback. I want known. I love Trevor Lawrence. I've always wanted. Once I saw Trevor Lawrence play at Clemson, I'm like, this guy is legit. I think he's going to be excellent. I think the Jags are going to be excellent. But if I'm starting a franchise and looking 15 years down the road, I'd probably take Trevor Lawrence. I probably would.
That's
but going into this season alone, just looking at 23-24 season, I'm still going to take Justin Herbert because he's a proven commodity. He's 3 for 3 on good seasons.
Yeah.
Trevor Lawrence is 1 for 2. That's the only reason why I have him there, and there's no injury history to speak of.
I can't really blame him for the Urban Meyer season.
No, agreed.
But at the end of the day, rookie year still on the worst side coming in. But
again, the second year jump. What's the third year jump going to be?
Yeah, exactly. That was a massive jump.
That's where I'm looking at.
And he did add Calvin Ridley.
Yeah,
Calvin Ridley. I mean, I have him top 7, which is still pretty damn good.
I love about Herbert, he's excelled under. I want to say this is Kellen Moore is going to be his 3rd different offensive coordinator. Has already excelled under 2, and Kellen Moore offensive magician, guru guy coming in. That's going to be an interesting dynamic there, and I'm very excited for that.
I don't even think has Herbert missed like any games.
That's the thing. He is a gamer. He's missed a couple.
He had like a really hurt his
a gamer. Yeah, he broke his ribs. I would say he broke his ribs against Kansas City in week 2 or week 1, and he came back in down 10 threw a touchdown. Man, he's a gamer. G, you do have Herbert at 6. Got to assume it's similar to what Nate was talking about. That guy's right there to the top 5. The next jump, Nate. The difference here, you have this guy a couple spots higher than Nate has him, and that's Lamar, the guy we were just talking about. Yeah. So Lamar, top 6 quarterback.
We've said all we've had to say about Lamar. He's this year. I think he's going to be good this year because they have a new offensive coordinator. No more of the garbage, whatever his name was anymore. They brought in somebody who has been a solid offensive coordinator for Georgia, and Todd Monken.
Yep.
And then he finally has some weapons to throw the ball to. I like the Odell edition. I like the Rashad Bateman edition. I love the Zay Flowers edition.
Yeah.
So those are probably the 3 best receivers he's had in his entire career, all in the same receiving room.
So no more excuses, right?
Exactly. Yes, agreed. But that's why I have him at top 6 going into this season, because I think that he's still going to be able to run the ball at an insane clip. Anytime Lamar Jackson steps on the field, he's the fastest player on that field. At any given moment, Lamar Jackson is the quickest, shiftiest, probably fastest player on that field.
Do you think he's going to be able to stay healthy full season?
I think so.
Running the ball?
He might. He's three healthy seasons versus 2 unhealthy seasons.
I will say Lamar came out and he was asked about the offense and the new OC, and he said more passing, more passing, less running.
A lot more passing, less
We'll
running.
see when all of a sudden you're down 10 and you need a play. Hey, Lamar, let's call your legs out. But we'll obviously see.
I have Lamar over Lawrence again because I just need to see another year from Lawrence. Next year, this could be different. Yep. But Lamar has been there, done that, and has been a good quarterback in this league. I want to see more from Lawrence before I move him up.
And I was going to say, Nate, you just said you got Lawrence right behind Lamar. Like that, though, for him there. At the end of the day, he's got to be top 7 quarterbacks. I think for anybody that's really making a list, the kid's just absolutely insane. We've already gushed about him. Now, Matt, you have Aaron Rodgers here. It does pain me to think that he was still this good, even when he was in the Green Bay Packer uniform. But tell me why you still got this guy this high, even at age 40.
Yeah,
We've already gushed about him a little bit.
We already talked about it, but again, coming into a new team, motivated, ready to go, 2 years removed from back-to-back MVPs.
Yeah.
I mean,
you can't take him out of the top 10.
No.
At the end of the day, no.
Like, just because he had one down year to his standards, I mean, I see him bouncing back.
I think at the end of the day, his down standard year last year,
the
Jets would have taken that last year.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Jets would have grinning year to year. But is that what they need, though? We've obviously talked about it to go farther, but they would take what Rodgers brought last year, let alone something better.
Yeah, I mean, if the Jets, that was their biggest need last year was quarterback, and they replaced it with a top 7 QB in my eyes.
Well, you guys got some NFC North quarterbacks here that I can't lie, did not think we're going to maybe make this list, or so a little bit lower. Matt, I have made it public that I don't believe in Goff as much as other people. I think he's shown what he was in LA when they reached the Super Bowl, and that is a quarterback that needs everything to be perfect and a great team around him to potentially compete. But you've got him in the top 10 here. The Lions were playing very well to end the season last year, and he was a part of that. And he was the reason why. He's probably proven me wrong a little bit here. But what you got to say about Goff here in your top 10 above Lamar?
So just going into 2023 season, let's look at what Goff did the last 10 games of the year. So they were 8-2. They had a rough start to the year, but you don't go 8-2 last 10 games unless your quarterback's playing great. I feel like that's fair to say.
Yep.
17 touchdowns and 1 interception in that 10-game span. It's pretty good. Yeah. So the Lions, pretty good roster now, I'd say. A ton of high draft picks in there. They were, I think if they made the playoffs last year, they would have been like my sleeper team.
Maybe make a sneak.
They had to play at San Francisco, though.
That's the one tough one, but you just never know.
I mean, They
would have
playing better than anybody.
They would have given them a better fight than Seattle. That's for sure.
Definitely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Seattle shouldn't have made it. That was a bummer.
But yeah, I mean, I think he's got the pieces around him now to show that he can play, and he's played well down the stretch. So I think the Lions are favored to win the division this year. Yep. So I'm interested to see if he can get to the playoffs again and see how he does.
I do like the additions the Lions have made, and you said it, man. Goff at the end of the season was playing out of his mind, and you can't ignore that, especially coming into this year when you look around the team that's built around him. It's gotten better. Mm-hmm. It's gotten better, and Jameson Williams, the betting thing, that sucks, but it's not, man. Make sure you're totally good though.
Yeah,
I mean, he played a little bit at the end of last year. You're gonna be 100% when you come back, and then you better not. Yeah, that's the thing, and you better not fuck up again.
St. Brown is elite.
Yep, yeah, and at the end of the day, I like the running back room.
Yeah, added Montgomery.
Yeah, that makes me sad.
Drafted
Jameer Gibbs.
Yep, 100%.
They're pretty loaded.
Yeah, 100%. And Goff, this is your opportunity to
behind a great offensive
show
line.
up, man. Lions made a good trade there. Nate, on the other end, another NFC North quarterback that is not Jared Goff. There's Kirk Cousins here in your top 10.
This one surprised me. Let's see what
Yeah. Okay.
Let's hear it.
First of all, we want to talk about having a loaded offense. Let's look at Kirk Cousins and the freaking Minnesota Vikings offense. Very solid offensive line. Best receiver in the NFL in Justin Jefferson. I don't think anybody could argue that. They added T.J. Hockenson, who is probably top 6, top 7 tight end. I don't know. He's not a bad tight end at all. And then they added Jordan Addison to replace Adam Thielen. I love that addition. Jordan Addison is going to be awesome for them in that offense. And again, with Dalvin Cook there, like Kirk Cousins last year had a down season compared to his previous seasons, and he still threw for 4,500 yards, 29 touchdowns. Yes, the 14 interceptions. The interceptions are ugly. He had their team winning games. At the end of the day, yeah, they were lucky in a lot of them to win one-score games.
I'm pretty sure they had what was their plus minus?
Oh, it was
average.
Even.
It was even.
Yeah, they won.
Their defense.
They're not winning all those games.
But can we talk about their defense being horrible last year? The Vikings' defense was as bad as Detroit's defense.
It was bad.
Mm-hmm. Like their defense is terrible, and they still won all those games because the offense kept them in games, without a question. Kirk Cousins has been a part of the same system for a while now. I just like Cousins going into this season more than I like Goff, mainly because of what Addison said. Goff had his best season this past season. This was his best year, and he had less yards, same number of touchdowns as Kirk Cousins in a down season compared to Kirk Cousins' previous seasons.
I think it's more because the start of the season wasn't great for Goff, but I'm looking at the end of the season.
Right, so but you're taking a 10-game sample versus Goff's career.
This is going into 2023. I don't care what he did in 2018.
Right. But so you think that this is the new Goff? That these 10 games is who Jared Goff really is?
I think with the roster with the offense, we just went through everything, all the pieces he has on the offense. Mm-hmm. I think he's going to play this.
I think
he might not go. He might not go 17 touchdowns, 1 interception, like those type of numbers. That ratio the whole year. But I think he's going to be good enough to get them the division and make a run in the playoffs. Yeah.
See, and
I just don't like the argument going back. You can't look at what are you going to look at what Rodgers did in 2011 for comparing him to ranking
which is why I have Rodgers at 9.
I know, but that's just an example.
But what I'm saying is I think Jared Goff had okay, let's use another person example. Nick Foles. Do you remember when Nick Foles was on the Eagles and he threw 21 touchdowns to 2 interceptions over a stretch and they won a ton of games? That was not who Nick Foles is.
He's one of the weirdest.
But that is not who Nick Foles was as a quarterback. He got hot and played hot. Jared Goff got hot and played hot for 10 games. I don't think he can sustain that.
We'll see.
Because he hasn't his entire career. He's never sustained that. He's never done that.
Let's not compare him to Foles. He's had better years
than
Nick Foles. Sure,
but I'm saying
he took the Rams to the Super Bowl.
Todd Gurley took the Rams to the Super Bowl.
Well,
Todd Gurley did that. Let's not fool ourselves.
I mean, he was still the quarterback.
Yeah, they were sure.
And they've had plenty of playoff runs, not with his time there, but didn't they?
They had that one run, and that was pretty much it.
But they made the playoffs pretty much every year, didn't they?
I don't think so. I think they struggled with Goff. There's a reason they shipped him out for Stafford.
Well, I know. I mean, he wasn't getting the job done at the end of the day, but I'm pretty sure they.
I think they made the playoffs. I think at least 2 times with Goff because the year the Bears snuck in and with the Saints, I think they made it as well.
Yeah, because I remember when they played that Monday night game, they were like the top of the.
But at the end of the day, Goff wasn't getting it done.
Right, and they shipped him out.
But.
So I just think that Goff is who he has proven himself to be and not the flash in the pan we saw last season. That's not to say he's bad. Mm-hmm. Like if we extended this list to top 15, he's definitely in the top 15 for me going into this season. He played great for them last year. I just think Cousins in the same system with the same weapons, adding in Jordan Addison and another year of Justin Jefferson, I just think Kirk Cousins will be a better quarterback than Jared Goff
Kirk Cousins, at his worst, really, I think is a 3,500-yard quarterback with 30-plus touchdowns.
Yes.
Really, because he just puts stats up. He just puts numbers up.
He's a fraud.
No, he doesn't have any.
He's not going to win in the playoffs.
He doesn't have any.
I don't think the Lions are going to win anything in the playoffs this year either.
I disagree. I
think
think they can make a run for sure.
What kind of a run are we talking here? That's a totally different.
I think they could make an NFC Championship game.
I mean, the NFC is weak. I mean,
if they snuck in the playoffs last year, do you think they would have?
They would have lost to the 49ers in the first round.
Is that who they would have played?
Yes, they would have been the 7th seed because that's what the Seahawks got. They would have been the 7th seed going to San Francisco.
It is
they would have to lose.
They were high.
So was San Francisco.
Yeah, true. Yeah. And it took a quarterback injury to derail them.
Exactly.
But at the end of the day, they hold the keys. The Lions hold the keys to the North. And if that births them a playoff appearance with the potential addition to this roster, that's what I think of the Lions. The one thing with Cousins, I love the Vikings. I'm just scared, man, with all those one-score games.
Agreed. Absolutely.
But he's going to put up numbers. I don't think that's the question.
That's what we're talking.
That's not the question.
Will the Lions be a better team?
Kirk Cousins is going to throw 4,000 yards. He's going to throw 35 touchdowns. He's going to throw 10 picks.
Yep.
And the Vikings are going to be in a lot of games.
Well, what's going to happen when he needs to play a super important game? What is he? He's going to choke.
Yeah,
because Jared Goff has won so many important games in his career.
They flexed us here. They flexed us.
Because Goff has been a huge performer in primetime games in his career.
Where
are you getting that from?
Okay, hold on. Well, you want to compare? Did you say primetime games? You know what Kirk
Cousins'
primetime
You said big
is?
games. You said big games. What has Jared Goff done in big games?
I mean, got to a Super Bowl.
And what happened in the Super Bowl? How many points did he score?
They lost. Yeah.
How many points did he score?
3.
Didn't score a single touchdown.
I will
say
a
zero.
So how much did he shrink? How much did he shrink underneath the lights?
0% chance that the Vikings get to the NFC Championship game.
There's an equally 0% chance that the Lions get to the NFC Championship game. Equally 0% chance.
I agree with both of you because Bears have a 100% chance getting there.
Good point.
Definitely. Well, we'll move on to 9 here. I will say this about Goff. He might be a part of the most wicked primetime game ever. That Chiefs-Rams game was a big game. Over 100. That's it, though, man. That's it. That was Jared Goff's Super. If he played like that in the Super Bowl, man. But no, you got one of those, and that was a wicked game. But that's not who he is. I agree. But personally, I think both those guys belong out of the top 10. We'll move on.
I thought about Dak in there. I thought about taking Dak.
Yeah, I'm a big Dak guy.
I think Dak's just solid.
I think he's just so average.
He's so turnover prone. It scares me.
Like
he led the league in turnovers and he missed several games.
When he came back and he was just turning the ball over
all the time. It made me nervous.
Matt, you've got Lamar at 9. We've already talked about a lot, and just anticipating this upcoming season if he's going to play. Yeah, he wins games in the regular season. Wins games in the regular season. Nate, you've got Aaron Rodgers, and we've already talked about him a lot as well. At the end of the day, Aaron Rodgers being bad is still probably a top 10 quarterback.
It's still good.
It's LeBron saying he's better than 90% of the NBA. Sure, LeBron, even at 40, you are. Aaron Rodgers at 40, you're better than a lot of quarterbacks, but does that mean we're the best?
It's crazy how you think the Jets could be bad next year.
What? I just said they could win 10 or 11 games. Why do you think that's bad?
You said they were going to win like 8.
I said they could win anywhere from 7 to 10. It wouldn't shock me. I put them at 9 and 8 when we did our official prediction because they have a horribly difficult. They have a top 5 hardest schedule.
I will say, I think 9 and 8 last year. That would have been competing though for NFC playoffs. It would have been interesting.
Right in there.
So it's like 9 and 8.
There's nothing wrong with that.
It might be enough because people beat up on each other.
And you look at these quarterbacks. There's one thing that's in common on our list is how many AFC quarterbacks are on this list. It's all AFC. No matter how you slice it.
We got Hurts, and then we're talking who?
Exactly. It's Mahomes, Burrow, Allen, Lawrence, Herbert,
Matt,
Lamar. That's 6 quarterbacks from the AFC right there.
The question, I have for you, and this isn't a bad one, because the answer is unknown in my opinion, but you have Goff as the second best NFC quarterback. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that's just like, when you really look though, when you say Lamar would get traded over, no, exactly. It's like if Lamar got traded over, he would be 1A, 1B with Hurts because no one else is really there. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And it's
wide open.
Exactly. Yeah. Hopefully, feels
my gripe with the Jets and thinking that they're all of a sudden the Super Bowl team is they don't have the coaching to do it. And that's important.
Yeah.
Like, if Rodgers struggled and that team struggled last year, again, I'm talking Rodgers because he's my number 9 quarterback. If they struggled last season with the coaching that he's had, LaFleur went 13-3 3 straight years. That's impressive. Like, he is a solid head coach. If you look at head coach,
how he does this year.
Right. It'll be interesting. If Love comes out and falls, then it's very clear that LaFleur was a good coach. But I just don't trust Robert Saleh as 11-23 as a head coach in the NFL, who's never been an offensive guy. Bringing in Nathaniel Hackett, who's sucked for Denver.
He's just now starting to get some players. So you gotta give him
if you told me though,
he's never coached an offense.
You can't take over a bad team and expect them to.
But you look at all the other defensive coaches in the league, like Vic Fangio. He brought in Denver, made Denver's defense fantastic. Never figured out the offense. Never figured it out.
I'll say this though, with Rodgers in your top 10, I think Rodgers having top 10 quarterback numbers this year, I think
will be solid for the Jets.
I think that's legit.
Yeah.
I think that he could easily do that. And honestly, both of you guys got him pretty close to each other. I mean, Matt, you have him at 7 and that's right there. I think that's what Rodgers could produce. And then here we go at 10. Nate, you got your boy Tua. And then Matt, the biggest question mark out of the top 10 is Matt Stafford for this upcoming season in the LA Rams. You're not among the group that think the Rams are going to struggle and Stafford will be punished for it.
So let's not forget Stafford, before he got hurt last year, they won a Super Bowl the year before, right? And he put up 41 touchdowns, 17 picks, a lot of interceptions, but he throws for a shit ton of yards, lots of touchdowns.
I don't care what he did then. What did he do last year? What's he going to do this year?
He got hurt.
Okay, go ahead, continue.
Yeah. Speaking of being hurt, 98 games were missed to injury on that roster, most in the league. 13 different offensive lines, most in the league. How can anybody win it? That's like Jay Cutler and the Bears in those years. So
I'm assuming you saw who the Rams added to their offensive line in free agency.
I don't think who did they add?
Nobody. So still going to be bad.
But yeah, so they're not going to, I don't think they're going to have that many injuries again. I would hope not. They're not going to have that many different offensive lines. Hopefully they can stick with the same group for the whole season or, not mix up that much. But again, he's 1 year removed from that, putting up those numbers and those yards and winning a Super Bowl. And he got hurt last year. So I think he's coming back motivated. They have a good head coach. Cooper Kupp's, I feel like he's still underrated for some reason.
Yeah,
I've seen top 5 receivers lists that I can't remember who was on.
He has to be in
I think it was
top 5
Tyreek
list.
Hill would give him a top 5 list, and he didn't have.
Devontae Adams just put his out and put himself at 1. He did not have Kupp in.
Yeah, how is he not number 5? Just I don't.
At minimum, man, he is.
He's a top 5 receiver.
Definitely.
100%.
You want to tell me Jettas is better? Sure.
Yeah.
That's the only person yeah.
I'll argue. You know what I mean? You want to tell me argument? Yeah. Sure, I'll listen to a Tyreek argument because of the numbers and the production. But it's eventually you're running out of people because Kupp's doing this also by him fucking self.
Yeah, I think he's top 5 for sure.
Yeah. So anyway, but so he has him still. I don't know. I think he still puts up great numbers. The team. We'll have to see how the team does. They could be a sleeper team to come back. Not saying they're going to make a Super Bowl or anything, but they're going to be better than they were last year. So.
Okay. So that's okay. All right. Good. So yes.
I'll say both quarterbacks that. I don't want to say injury issues because Stafford.
He hasn't had any. Last year was. If you look at his numbers, he's played every game.
Stafford is 7, 8 Stafford's a gamer. The one thing is, it was a neck injury. I want to say,
that's
so it's
serious.
Just getting up there in age.
Yep. 35 years old.
But it's just at the end of the day, he has pushed through everything he's ever faced. Adversity. His family's faced adversity with his wife having a brain tumor. I want to say or something like that. So he understands what it's like to face adversity. It's not like that's going to hold him back. But Tua, on the other hand,
you're saying coaching matters, right?
Yeah,
he's got a pretty good coach, right?
I'll say Sean McVay, man, he's up there. Every team would love to have a Sean McVay.
Absolutely.
And everyone, I assume most teams in the NFL would love to have a healthy Tua.
Yes.
There's just nobody there's nobody else that I could think of that would be higher than him.
There's just no way. I'm jumping in. There's just no way you can look at what these guys did, especially last season and going into this season, because we're not in the business of predicting injuries because they were both hurt last year, Tua and Stafford. When they were healthy, let's look at the numbers. Because Stafford started out the year with a healthy Rams team, right? And Tua started out the year with a healthy Dolphins team, and this is what they both did. Stafford, in his 9 games that he played, they went 3-6. Not great. He averaged 220 passing yards a game, averaged 1.1 touchdown a game, and threw 8 interceptions in 9 games, which is just shy of 1 interception a game. That's not good.
I'd have to see
team went 3-6
when their injuries started piling on. But
Stafford played the first 9 games.
I know, but I'm saying the rest of it, like I said, there's a ton of other players that were injured right here.
The Rams weren't good last year. Let's just get that out there. And they're not going to be good this year because they haven't added anybody because they can't add anybody. Watch the Los Angeles Rams video I put out in their offseason. They have no money. They can't add anybody. They shipped out Jalen Ramsey. They shipped out Bobby Wagner. They've gotten rid of everybody. They're going to suck again. Their offensive line is still a bunch of turnstiles. Let's look at what Tua did in the games that he started last year. In the 12 games that Tua started, averaged 292 passing yards a game, 3 touchdowns a game, and threw the same number of interceptions, 8, that Stafford threw in his 9 games. Before this past season, you want to worry about injuries. Before this past season, Tua had never had a documented concussion. He's using a new helmet that's concussion tested. It's supposed to be the best in the business for it. And he's been working on other ways to help him learn how to fall again because the way he was falling was to protect his hip that he had to have repaired. So he's relearning how to fall, but you can't tell me.
Learn how to fall?
It's a lot of Trust me.
Good luck with that in live action play while you're actually out there.
We'll see. We'll see what he does this year. But there's just no way that you can look at the numbers they put up last year and say, oh, Stafford is going to outproduce Tua this year. There's no way. There's absolutely no statistic that supports that. There's not a single one that you can pull out of your ass and say, this is why Stafford will be better. The Dolphins' offense was one of the best in the league last year. All they did was get better this offseason. The Rams have only lost people.
Who do they add on offense?
Well, they got rid of Gesicki, which is good for me. I'm happy to get rid of him. We added offensive line help.
Okay.
We've added offensive line help. And the defense will be a lot better as well.
I don't think you added anything on offense. Right?
We added a running back, but we'll have Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. That's more than enough. Yeah, that's more than enough.
Waddle's the number one on
most teams. On most teams.
Yeah, they have a stacked roster.
Exactly.
But
we're looking at what these quarterbacks will do this upcoming season. Yeah. There's no way you think Stafford's going to outproduce Tua.
I could see it for sure.
How?
Looking at
who's a better wide receiver room? Let's do this. Who's a better wide receiver room?
Of course, the Dolphins have a better receiver room.
Okay.
But I think Kupp's better than both of them though.
You think Kupp's better than Hill?
I think so. I think there's definitely an argument there.
I mean, you could maybe talk it, sure, but you mean Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle? They combined for 3,000 yards. Yeah, but he had Odell on the other side. Kupp doesn't have help anymore. Kupp does not have any more help. It's just Cooper.
Wait a minute. Odell came like halfway.
And he balled out for them. He absolutely balled out for them.
He came really late.
Like second half of the season, and he balled out for him. He was on pace to win Super Bowl MVP. He was on pace to win Super Bowl MVP the game, and they got hurt.
I want to say he played like the last 2
He probably
weeks.
would have won.
He would have won Super Bowl MVP for them. Odell was solid. He had help. Kupp had help that year. Kupp was awesome. This isn't about Cooper Kupp. The Dolphins' wide receiver room is significantly better. The Dolphins' offense in general is significantly better. Stafford's coming off of a serious neck injury. He's getting up there in age. If you say both these quarterbacks will be healthy all season long, if you just look at the averages from last year.
I mean, hopefully it is Tua, but
you can't predict that. You can't predict it.
No, can,
no, you can't, because last year he didn't hurt his body at all. His body was fine. It was concussions. That was fluky. Those were fluke things where he got thrown to the ground.
Fluke if you get 3 concussions
in a
year?
2 concussions in a year.
He didn't get one.
Nope, not documented. He got 2 documented concussions. That's what I'm going off of. Because you can sit here and say, oh, I saw this one was, but you're not a neurologist.
How did he get hurt in the beginning of the year?
The Bills game, when he hurt his back, is what it was ruled as. Did he have a concussion? Maybe. But the neurologist that checked him out said he's good. I'm going with the neurologist's word.
Well, what happened in the Packers game, though?
A concussion.
But he played
through it. Yeah, he played through it.
You're going to trust the same guy that threw him out there?
I don't think they checked him for a concussion in that game. Because he was not they checked him in the Bills game because he came up and stumbled after he stood up. In the Packers game, he didn't stumble at all. He was fine. He got up and ran off. But then afterwards, he couldn't recall plays. You look at the first half of that game versus the second half, it's very clear that there was something off.
No, you can't say, oh, he played bad because of that because they didn't take him out of the game.
But he had a documented concussion afterwards.
If he's staying in the game, he needs to play at a high level then. Otherwise, take him out if he's hurt. Why was he in the game?
They didn't know he was hurt. If you don't know he was hurt.
But you're blaming that for why he played poorly, right?
Yes, I am.
Okay, so then you can't, though, if you're saying that. Why did he stay in the game?
If quarterbacks play badly, Matt, you automatically assume they have an injury. If a quarterback plays bad, are they automatically injured in your mind?
But that's what you're saying is why he played bad.
Okay, but then if they come out then and they're like, hey, this guy was hurt and he played through, it's like, oh, okay, well, that makes more sense. That happens all the time.
Why didn't it make more sense when he was throwing 3 interceptions in the second half?
Because people have bad habits sometimes. You don't think about it. You're like, oh, shit. And then when you talk to Tua the next day, and you're like, why did you do this? He goes, I don't even remember that play. It's like, okay, exactly.
But they knew. But they did know because he got his head slammed into the ground.
But he hopped up and was acting like he was fine.
I mean, but didn't he have a concussion before that, right?
Yes.
You would think that if somebody slams their head on the ground, all right, this guy's got a concussion before.
It was such a odd play that they probably did.
How are you? I'm surprised you're defending that, not taking him out of the game.
If he wasn't exhibiting symptoms, he didn't show symptoms at the time.
Concussions
can show symptoms afterwards. Okay, sure. He had a bad game, Matt. You want to talk about all his good games last year? So I'm happy to do that too. Or do you just want to talk about the bad ones? Because you hate Tua for some reason.
He was pretty bad down the stretch. I'll say that.
Okay, what were his numbers last year? I'm pretty sure you would take his numbers last year on your team.
I don't know his exact numbers.
I'll tell you, 3,500 passing yards, 25 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. You wouldn't take that from Fields this year?
What did I say?
Would you take that from Fields this year?
Yeah, of course I'd take Fields.
Thank you.
Look at our quarterback history.
Exactly. It's terrible. You would take 3,500, 25, and 8 every single season.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Moving on.
Let's look how he did. When I came on here, what did I say was going to happen in the Dolphins? I said, I came here, the last time I did the phone call, there's 4 games left in the year. I said, there's a pretty good chance they could lose all those games. and not make the playoffs. They went 1-3, snuck in, and lost the playoff game. So
right, by 3 points with Skylar Thompson. You also didn't predict Tua to miss 2 of those games.
I mean, you played 2 of them and lost both. So
Sure. Granted, I'll give you that. But there's just no way when you look at statistics that you have Stafford ahead of him. There's just no way. Like, there's no statistic that defends that. There's none.
I mean,
going into this year, because you don't want to talk about past seasons. Yeah, Stafford won a Super Bowl. Great. We aren't talking about that. We're talking about 2023.
I know, but he was hurt the entire year, basically, and had a...
Stafford played 9 games. He was not hurt the entire year.
I mean, his team around him was, too.
Okay, so were the Dolphins. The Dolphins had a ton of injuries. We were missing Tron Armstead for several games.
They did not have... No one had as many injuries as the Rams.
As many injured games. You can have dudes who are injured miss 17 games. And, there's 17 missed games from a player. Okay. Congratulations.
I'm just going off stats. That was the most in the NFL.
Okay, and they were bad when he played still. They were 3-6. I thought if he's an elite quarterback, he should be able to rise above that.
I guess where does elite quarterback lie?
Top 10.
That top 10's elite?
I would say that's pretty damn good. Okay, fine.
I'd say that top 5.
Okay, then what's your line for top 10? What would you consider a top 10 quarterback? What would you consider a top 10 quarterback? To be really, really good?
I guess.
Okay, Stafford was not really, really good last year.
Yeah.
In general, he was not. And they didn't add anything to make him better this year. They didn't change anything. Tua was really, really good last year. There's no questioning that. No matter how you want to spin it, he was really, really good last year statistically. There's no reason to think that he won't be at least that good again this year. None.
Yeah, we'll see. I just don't know if he can stay on the field for one.
See, but you can't expect an injury. You just can't do that planning out for a season. You can't, because did you expect Tom Brady to tear his ACL in 2008 and them to be bad? No. Everybody would have had Brady in top 10, right? You can never expect an injury.
I feel like there's got to be some studies done. If you get a concussion, you're likely to get another one.
Actually, you're not. I already looked it up, so I need to say that. You are not. There's no such thing as being prone to a concussion. You know what a concussion actually is?
No, I don't.
It is when you hit your head hard enough that your brain hits your skull and is damaged in some way for a period of time. It's a brain bruise, essentially. Nobody is more prone to them because everyone's skulls are the same level of thickness. And Tua had never had a concussion in his life before.
Interesting.
So it just is a fluky thing. The Bills center last year got 5 concussions. 5. He said, I had 5 concussions last year. He seems just fine.
Did he have to sit out?
No, he played through them because they didn't care.
So then what's the difference?
Kenny Pickett had two concussions, and nobody was calling for him to retire.
Okay, so but what's the difference then? Why would they play through that? But Tua missed like the last 3 games?
Because he was forced to. The NFL was put into an ugly position where they literally changed the rule for a while and had spotters sitting in the stands watching for concussion symptoms because Tua had that ugly.
For him specifically?
No, for the league. The league. They literally changed the rule because on prime time television, he had an ugly concussion.
Yeah.
So that's why they were watching him like a hawk. The NFL wouldn't let him play the last weeks of the season. Tua was just about cleared to play in the playoff game, and the NFL was like, no shot is he playing. He's not stepping foot on a field right now.
Are you giving him a huge contract?
Right now?
Yeah.
No.
How many years? He's got this year
and next year. He's got 2 more years. Yeah, we already picked it up, and I would have done it.
And you're not paying him, but he's a really, really, really good quarterback, right?
He had a really, really, really good year. I want to see him do it again.
Okay.
Is that too much to ask for?
No. I was expecting you to say you were going to give him one.
I wouldn't have given Jalen Hurts that contract that he got right now either. Because I want to see him do it again. Jalen Hurts had 1 good year. 1 good season does not mean a great contract. I give Herbert the contract, 3 great years. I give Burrow the contract, 2 great years, 2 AFC Championship games. Let me see it.
All right.
That's not too much to ask.
I want to see it too because he has everything he needs now.
Yep.
Agreed.
And when he had everything he needed last year, what did he do with it?
What was his record? It was
8 and 5.
8 and 5.
Mm-hmm. What's wrong with that?
8
and 4. 8 and 4. Excuse me, because he only played 12 games. 8 and 4. That's pretty damn good.
That's all right. Yeah. I mean,
pretty damn
he's got to
good.
He's got to play a full season though.
Sure.
Too.
And I'm not in the business of predicting injuries. If you are, I would like to know the lottery numbers for tomorrow because clearly you can tell the future and I can't. I'm not in the business.
That is interesting about the concussions though, because I thought it was like you're prone to get.
No, you're not.
Another one.
If it's a fluke, it's like breaking a bone. Yeah. You're not more prone to break a bone if you've broken a bone. It heals, and then if it happens again, it happens again. It's just another fluke injury. Like if I break my arm, I'm not at more risk of breaking my arm.
Yeah, we'll see. If I had to guess, I don't even know if he's going to be a starter after his 5th year's up.
This is why I set the troll trap, because you are such a fucking troll, it's unbelievable. I didn't even think he was going to be a starter. Matt, he just had what would have been the Bears' best quarterback season in history this past year. You think he wouldn't be a starter somewhere? You think no one's going to... Baker Mayfield is starting in this league right now. Are you joking me? Look around the NFC South.
Well, you just said you don't know if you would pay him.
That's because he's gonna get a bunch of fucking money.
All right, so
let me see him for a year. If he goes out and does what he did this year,
plays 10 games next year due to injuries again, what are you gonna say?
I'm gonna say I'm playing the fifth year option. Play out the 5th year option. I'm not giving you a full guaranteed big ass contract right now.
And then also, some players are injury prone.
You can't. There's nothing that says Matt Stafford will be better than Tua this year. There's just no defense for that.
We'll see. I mean,
definitely.
I'm going.
But can you defend that? Defend it then.
I gave you his numbers from when he just won a Super Bowl.
But he didn't actually. The Chiefs just won a Super Bowl. Stafford didn't win a Super Bowl.
Previous year, let's see.
Lamar
let's
just
see what happens.
Lamar just won an MVP.
Let's see what happens if his team can actually stay healthy and he stays healthy.
Okay.
I guarantee
when he was healthy,
I guarantee he puts up. I bet you he puts up more touchdowns and yards than Tua does.
More touchdowns than you? Okay.
I think so.
Let's bet on it. I will fucking shave my head on camera if Matt Stafford has more yards and touchdowns than Tua by the end of the year, assuming health. That's the caveat.
Let's look at what were his. I think I have somebody's numbers pulled up. No, I don't. What were Stafford's numbers compared to Tua's last year for the Super Bowl year he had?
I don't know because I'm not looking at that.
I bet you they were more.
Probably, sure, great.
Right,
the Super Bowl year they were fantastic. Last year they were terrible. With Matt Stafford last year they were 3-6. That's all I have to say. 3-6 versus 8-4. Give me the 8-4 quarterback over the 3-6 quarterback and the younger quarterback every day of the week.
All right, we'll see.
Also, Tua's a lot cheaper than Matt Stafford.
That's true. That is true. That is true.
So
we'll definitely get into this
for now.
Yeah, we'll definitely be
cheaper
covering
than
that.
him this year and next year.
Yeah.
And we're talking about this next year.
Yeah,
so
very expensive.
A lot cheaper next year than Matt Stafford is.
We'll definitely be keeping track of Stafford and Tua's numbers all year for sure. Touchdowns and yards.
I'm going to shave your head on camera, Matt. I'm really excited about it. I can't wait.
This next one.